grinds my gears.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What the hell is wrong with you? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a emergency episode of Ryno's Rants. Of course, we all woke up this morning about the time between we had our first cup of coffee or driving into work or things of that nature. Something happened today. Yeah, nothing major, Nick, but the Minnesota, it was announced first off by, I think it was Ben Gessling and Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, also at the same point in time, that the Minnesota Vikings have agreed to a contract extension with one Justin Jefferson. Of course, thing that's been rumored to be coming for 2 years now. Dan Patrick said it as well. Yeah, pretty much everybody hopped on it the minute it was. But yes, as it came out this morning, Monday, of course, mandatory minicamp starting this week. So great time for it to come about. But Justin Jefferson agreeing to terms, 4-year contract extension worth $140 million, $35 million average annual value, but a bunch of different levels as far as yearly cap hits go. Yeah, and I'm going to get into that in just a minute because I got a bunch of stuff to rant about on that one. But anyway, let's go through the contract details here really quick. 110 million fully guaranteed, or 110 million guaranteed, 89 million fully guaranteed at signing. His 2024 cap hit is down to $8.5 million. That's actually about 10 million less than what he was scheduled to be making on his 5th-year option. It would have been 19-ish, I think, that the 5th-year option for wide receivers was this year. So gives the Vikings a little more cap space for the 2024 season in case they want to sign somebody, a defensive tackle or something like that. When you get to final cutdowns, there's obviously going to be players that will be let loose at the cutdowns that could be of help to the Vikings, especially on the defensive front line, offensive line, possibly, bunch of other stuff. Good evening, Doc. But then the contract hits after that. 2025 cap hit is only $15.3 million. So very affordable there as well. And then when we hit 2026, that's when the numbers start going up. 39.1 million in 2026, 43.4 million in 2027, and 47.3 million in 2028, which, as it sits right now, sounds like a shit ton of money, because it is a shit ton of money. But as we all know, the salary cap goes up considerably every year as well. So by the time we get to 2027, 2028, these will be fairly reasonable contract numbers, I would assume. Of course, there's also the opportunity at some point in time by then to potentially renegotiate, extend again, things like that. And then there's also $6 million in dead money rolled over into 2029, which is a void year type deal. Coincidentally, the Justin Jefferson contract will expire at the same point in time that J.J. McCarthy will be up for his first big contract. So they played the numbers the right way there, and we'll see what happens 5 years from now. But yeah, to go back to Ant's comment here a little bit earlier, just going through and reading all of these things that the national media was putting out there today, now after all this, Mike Florio this morning was out doing a victory lap because, he said on Friday that a contract extension was coming, could be as early as Monday. Yeah, Florio, you think we're all forgetting the fact that for the last 3 months plus, you have been out there actively trying to run Justin Jefferson out of town on your own. Fuck around and find out. They're pissing Justin Jefferson off. They tried to go up and get Malik Neighbors. Just shut up. And then you've got all these other guys. Oh, Adam Schefter was another one that, we've known for a long time that a lot of people called the Vikings about trading for Justin Jefferson, and every time that they called, the Vikings had told those teams no. Okay, you guys have known that for months, yet you keep going out there putting this drivel out about contract talks not going wherever, and Justin Jefferson might be traded. Oh, he could be traded to the Jets. Oh, he could be traded to the Falcons. Oh, he could be traded here. He could be traded there. You guys all knew that Justin Jefferson was not going anywhere, and you put it out on social media on a daily basis, if not at least weekly basis. And I said Mike Florio was one of the biggest perpetrators of this whole thing. It just goes to show what the national media, whether it be sports media, whether it be media, any of these people, that what they think about the average fan. They think the average fan has an attention span the size of a gnat, and that we're too stupid to remember what you said a month ago or whatever all else and declaring it as gospel then. We're just supposed to forget everything that you said for the past 4 to 6 months and just focus on the fact that you're out there taking a victory lap because you said on Friday that he was getting a contract extension. Breaking news, Florio. Water's wet, sun rises in the east. We all knew Justin Jefferson was going to get a contract extension. It was not a matter of if, it was just a matter of when. And we found out that when was this morning. Honestly, I believe this contract has been done for some time. I mean, you look back at the draft, the comments that Kwesi made after talking about good evening, Dave. Kwesi talking about, Justin Jefferson after they drafted McCarthy, and they're talking about Justin Jefferson deserves his own week, his own month or whatever to celebrate his contract signing. Well, okay, draft is over. Of course, then the Timberwolves roll into that stuff, so we don't want to mix the new Jefferson news in with the Timberwolves stuff. Timberwolves are done now. We roll into June, and lo and behold, the first workday of June, they roll out a shiny new contract for one Mr. Justin Jefferson. Ant talking about wondering what CD Lamb will get now. I know they're showing CD Lamb's numbers and stuff up there, and CD Lamb is a very good wide receiver, but he's not Justin Jefferson. I would say CD Lamb should be more in that A.J. Brown type range, 32, 33 a year. Now, Jerry Jones is the type of guy who would throw 35.1 at CD Lamb just so he can be more, higher paid than Justin Jefferson is. And if he is, fine, who cares? But the thing that really got me today, though, was beyond the media. We all know the media is full of shit. But looking at so much of the fan base out there that are losing their minds over the fact that we paid Justin Jefferson $35 million a year on a contract. We all knew that was going to be the range. Lance and I have been talking about that for months. That Bosa is at 34, something like that. We all knew that Justin Jefferson was going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. I said it the other night on the last week on the show. 35 to 38 was where I figured he would fall in. I'm actually surprised it was only 35. But whether it would have been 35, whether it would have been 38, Justin Jefferson is one of those transcendent players that is worth every penny of that contract, provided he stays healthy and provided he continues to play at the level that he does currently, which there's no reason to believe that he won't. The Cowboys are in cap hell. Yeah, and that's glorious to look at because I hate the Cowboys. Let them be in cap hell. I don't care. But watching some, now that I've seen the clickbait sites, you know the ones. I'm not going to mention any names. But good evening, Josh. But there's the same ones that you look on every time you go out there that are just throwing out these outrageous takes and everything else. Saw one just before I hopped on the show. Didn't read it because I didn't want to give them the click, but I saw the headline and told me all I need to know. Veteran Vikings players who may have to be released now that they signed Justin Jefferson. They don't have to release anybody because they signed Justin Jefferson. As I just said, the cap hit for 2024 with Jefferson is $8.5 million. $15.3 million in 2025. Unless it's a young player, they aren't going to have to worry about it for 2 to 3 years before they got to start worrying about this. With the money that the way they set it up for Jefferson, we can still go extend Darisaw whenever the hell we want to right now. We can work on some of these other guys. It's not that freaking hard. This is exactly very good point, Ryan. We paid AP big bucks to make the playoffs a couple times and fumble a lot. Jefferson gets a paycheck with a better coaching staff and roster run, and we're going to get back to the top very quickly. I agree 1,000% on that one. Exactly, Dan. That's all we got to say about Dallas. And absolutely, Jefferson is worth every penny. And that's the thing. You got these people. I saw somebody said, if we pay more than $20 million for Justin Jefferson, it's too much. Justin Jefferson, if you came to him and said, we're going to offer you a $20 million contract, he'd shove his foot up your ass and walk out the fucking door. And then he would say, trade me because that's stupid. We all knew, and the talks the last few weeks with all these other wide receivers getting their deals, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jalen Waddle, A.J. Brown, all these guys, what's that doing to the Justin Jefferson contract? Nothing, because Justin Jefferson was always going to get more than what those guys got. Jefferson was not playing for $28 million a year. Justin Jefferson wasn't coming for $32 million a year. It was always going to have to be more than what Bosa makes, and Justin Jefferson's worth every damn penny of it, plain and simple. But now that the clickbaiters lost all of that, the whole Justin Jefferson thing going. Now they got to come up with some other stupid stuff to talk about, and that's where the things are coming now with, oh my God, we're not going to be able to re-sign Jordan Addison now because we signed Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison has 4 more years on his rookie contract. I don't think we need to worry about Jordan Addison for a while. We can sign Christian Darisaw. We've got J.J. McCarthy for 5 years on a rookie contract. We've got the young guys on the defense that we brought in. Dallas Turner is here for 5 years. Those that want to pay Jefferson $25 million want the starting quarterback on the same price. Exactly, Ryan. That's just not the way the NFL works anymore. And salary cap is $256 million or whatever it is this year. People before were bitching about the fact that we couldn't sign any good players because of, we had a quarterback making that kind of money. Now we've got so they wanted the quarterback on the rookie scale deal so that we can do this other stuff, so we can pay Justin Jefferson and things. And we do exactly that. And now people are still pissed off about it because they're acting like the team is spending their money. Newsflash, everybody, it is a salary cap league. You have to pay players. You have a minimum floor that you have to spend up to. You also have a cap that you can't spend beyond. There's creative ways to manipulate it, but the salary cap is not a myth. The salary cap is there. Nick on this one, Judd said that Jefferson turned down $28 million last September. Yeah, I saw that too. And, you know, Judd did make a good point about that, is that when, they made that was a starting point. That was just opening negotiations because, when they talked about all last preseason and stuff already here, that the Vikings were close and everything like that, that was just the first number. And they were going back and forth. So it was just a number. A cheap quarterback and edge are the reason we can pay Jefferson, Darrisaw, Hawkinson, O'Neal. Absolutely, Dan. And, this is, again, the thing with Justin Jefferson's contract. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a shit ton of money. But the fact that there's the way they structured it and not the full guaranteed thing, they can move money around and things like that and restructure and all that kind of stuff down the road. We still have a ton of cap space. I mean, we're down to 50, 60 million, whatever it is next year now. But 2026 right now, we've got a ton. We're up over 100 million in cap space in 2026 projected as it is right now. Few years, you have to pay wide receivers more than quarterbacks. That's what's coming to. It's going to be worth it. Now, quarterbacks are always going to be higher. And I do believe at some point in time that there will be more of a tiered system for quarterbacks. As it sits right now, every quarterback that gets an extension is the next highest paid guy. I mean, Daniel Jones got over $40 million. Daniel Jones is not worth $40 million a year. You've got every time somebody comes in, they're 50 million, 55 million. Jared Goff just got a deal that's worth about 55 or whatever it is. So it's going to keep going up, but eventually there's going to have to be that split where you've got your elite quarterbacks are making this kind of money. Your average middle of the road type quarterbacks are making this kind of money. And then you got your bridge guys and everything down below. Wide receiver position is going to start trending in the running back position. So many good receivers are coming out this year. That's a very good point, Ryan. And, you look at how deep the wide receiver classes have gotten, because that's how college football is going right now. It's a passing league. You've got those air raid, run and shoot type offenses out there that are putting up a ton of passing yards, and they're pumping out very, very good, excellent to elite wide receivers. I mean, every year it seems like there's at least two or three that just absolutely go out and destroy the competition. Works out perfectly. By the time I have to pay McCarthy, time to move on from JJ. My point, yeah, I mentioned that earlier, Josh. I don't know if you were on yet or not, but yeah, Justin Jefferson will be 31 when this contract is up. So probably still enough left in the tank to garner another contract someplace. Will it be here? Will it be not? Who knows? That's way too far down the road to even consider, but that's why it was set up the way it is, I believe, to coincide with that. So assuming JJ McCarthy is who we all believe that he will be, and he gets up there and, warrants that big contract in 5 years, then they make the decision with Justin Jefferson. And about the same time, you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with Jordan Addison and things like that. TJ Hawkinson will be off his deal by that point in time. So a lot of moving parts, a long ways down the road, but you start looking at it, we've got this core tied up now through 2027 or 2028. Anyway, Hawkinson, I think, is set up through 28 through 27. Jefferson through 28. You got the rookie quarterback through 28. Jordan Addison is there till 27. So the pieces are there. Darrisaw is going to get an extension. Probably not this year, but offseason next year, he will get it. So Bengals will be interesting to see how they can pay Burrow and Chase. Going to be tough. Yeah, I mean, they'll have to try, but it's going to come at a cost to other places on the roster. That's the biggest problem. We have a window to do some shit. Absolutely, we do, Doc. And that's what the biggest part of this, people, excuse me, allergies are acting up. People are, still ripping on Kwesi for all this, still stuck on the damn Lewis Scene pick from 3 years ago. But you look at what Kwesi and KOC have done since they've gotten here. They got rid of most of those bloated old contracts of overpaying for guys whose performance did not warrant the kind of money they were making. They've started replacing those older aged players with younger. Is it 29? He's going to be 20. Isn't he 25? Is he 25 or is he 26? I thought he was going to be 26 here starting, but this month. Yeah, I could be wrong, but either way, he's still young enough to where he'll get another contract, whether it's here, whether it's someplace else. But yeah, the core is there. We're building on the defense. They brought in Jordan Addison. They brought in TJ Hawkinson. You've got now JJ McCarthy. You brought Aaron Jones in this year to solidify that running game. You've got pieces there to make a run. Can we make a run this year? I think we can get in the playoffs and see what happens there. But we start really looking at that window, 2025, 2026, 2027. That is going to be where the Vikings can make the most hay to try to get to a point where we can actually finally be hoisting that Lombardi trophy in February. Burrow's overrated if they pay truckload of 2 players since he won't compete. I love me some Joe Burrow personally. His biggest problem is he can't stay healthy. I like him as a quarterback. I think he's very good. Of course, he's also been aided by the fact that he's got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, guys like that catching the ball. Yeah, I'm not wearing glasses tonight. There was too much glare on the screen, so I took them off and going without tonight. But yeah, props to Philly for drafting Rager over Jefferson. Yeah, that's still never gets old watching that video of Spielman and Zimmer laughing when they announced the Jalen Rager pick. Paying a top wide receiver and a top quarterback would be hard. Yeah, it will, Dan. And if they plan on doing that, then, to Ryan's point, it's going to be hard for them to fill roster holes elsewhere. We've seen that over the past few years, the tail end of the Spielman Zimmer regime, where we were paying too much money to old players, and we were not able to. They weren't either able or willing to develop players behind those older players. Whether I'm not convinced it was all Rick Spielman's fault in the picking. He shoulders a lot of blame of it. But we also saw in the last few years, especially after like 2020, Zimmer didn't act like he had any interest in developing players. He wanted guys just to come in and play. That's why they wanted to keep their old guys. Good evening, Reggie. Your Anthony Barrs and players of that ilk. We're going to keep these guys around because I know they can currently play, and I don't have to worry about trying to teach these other guys, which was always Zimmer's big thing early on, was him being able to teach and develop, especially defensive players. Offensive players, he couldn't give a crap less about. We all know that. But at the end, he didn't even want to develop defensive players. Now, especially this year, we've got the first time in God knows how long that we have the same coordinators coming back for multiple years in a row. We've got the mad scientist Flores on defense. We got KOC / Wes Phillips / Josh McCown. McCown's new for the quarterback, but we got those same guys. We got the same system in there, and that's going to pay dividends this year, along with all of the new guys that they got. Dallas Turner, some of these young kids that they brought in. Grenard, Van Ginkel, Cashman. We got another year of the Swiss Army knife, Josh Metellus. Cam Bynum is a vastly underrated safety in this league, I believe. You still have Harrison Smith coming back for likely his swan song, but there was he's still, even though it's not peak Harrison Smith still had an effective season last year. Mike Zimmer wanted Anthony Barr to play quarterback and linebacker. As a quarterback, all you had to do is hand off to AP or Cook. Zimmer wanted to win every game. Yeah, that's true. Zimmer hated quarterback. Zimmer hated offense. The only quarterback Zimmer ever really liked was he loved Teddy Bridgewater. That was his boy. That was his, like his son. He never, whatever it was. Loved Teddy, hated everybody else. Hated Case Keenum. Hated Kirk Cousins. I guess he did like Sam Bradford, or I've been told that anyway. But then, Bradford had knees made out of balsa wood and played half a season or one season in a game or whatever it ended up being. But anyway, Zimmer is now Dallas's problem because he's the defensive coordinator down there. And that'll be a little interesting to see how things go there as well. But yeah, I heard that too, Ryan. And because at that point in time, it was, can we bring Bradford back, which proved to be a wise decision because he never played with Arizona either. He was there a year, and then was out of the league. We had an option to bring him back. We had the option to bring Case Keenum back. Could Case Keenum have replicated 2017 again in 2018? I don't know that he could have. But, the signing of Kirk Cousins was the beginning of the end for Zimmer and Spielman. Zimmer made the comment himself at the combine, paying big money for a quarterback, limit your stuff in other places. And if it doesn't pan out, I'm going to get fired over it. And he was right. And he took Spielman with him, which in the long run was a blessing, I believe, for this team, because the guys they have in there right now, I believe, are building something. And I believe that these guys have a very, very good opportunity to finally bring a championship home to Minnesota. And that's what we all want. Oh, anything else on the Justin Jefferson front we want to hit quick? Of course, mandatory minicamp starts tomorrow. 3 days worth, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Media availability is Thursday for sure. I don't know about Tuesday, Wednesday, but the team always puts out some hype videos and highlight stuff here and there. I would guarantee that somebody's going to have a camera out there, and the first time JJ McCarthy throws a pass to Justin Jefferson, they're going to have that on film, ready to release, the JJ to JJ connection. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. I'm sure it's coming. But other than that, that's really all I had tonight. I just wanted to hop on. Like I said, we hadn't planned on doing the Ryno's Rants here during the summertime, but being we had the Justin Jefferson signing this morning, felt like it was a good idea to hop on and just talk it out a little bit with you guys, give you the rundown on the numbers, things like that. And I wanted to vent a little bit about the media people and all that other stuff out there too. So with that, been going on about a half hour, be a short show tonight, but I do want to thank, hold on, Ryan's got a question here. We'll throw that up. We need to see improvement on KOC's on-field coaching. Has to stay on the throat of your opponent. Stop giving guys this group more chances. Yeah, that's the one thing so many of us have been calling for. So many times KOC seemed to get complacent and take the foot off the gas. Didn't want to run up the score on somebody. No, I fully agree. I want to see them going out there, putting their boot on the throat of the opposition and just beating them into submission until you just destroy their will to even compete. Go out there. It's okay to win a game 52-10, 52-20. Not all these games don't need to be 17-13. things like that. Kwesi had a better draft than his previous years, did better with free agency. Absolutely. You know, for all the crap, I got into it with a person on Twitter X the other day. And amazingly, I looked back at 2020 and 2021, the last 2 years of Rick Spielman, and then 22 and 23 with Kwesi's first 2 years. Kwesi's hit rate on both 2022 and 2023 was higher than Spielman's hit rate in 2021 or 2020, 2021. Of course, the hits that Spielman did get were the likes of Christian Darrisaw and Justin Jefferson. But we had, in the 2020 draft, he had 15 draft picks and 3 of them panned out. 2021 draft, he had 12 or whatever, and 3 of them panned out. So, that was eventually the downfall of Rick Spielman. He could not get guys that could develop into players other than hitting on, somebody in the first round like a Darrisaw, like a Jefferson. Sure, it would be nice to kick back, enjoy a game, just having a casual beer. Yeah, that's chewing glass for most of the second half is getting very stressful. As you guys can see, my hair is starting to get way grayer, and it was not that bad when a couple years ago. It can't be because I'm getting old. It's got to be because of the Vikings, but it is what it is. But anyway, thank you guys for hopping on tonight for the impromptu show. Shout out, of course, to the Filipino fan club, Noy, Rowena, Callie. I was asked specifically to say hello to Callie over there. Nympha, everybody else. Thank you for watching across the pond. I know you are because I talked to you beforehand. I know that you're watching. Thank you guys again for joining in the chat every time we do a live show. Love having you guys on. Love discussing back and forth. Far as the rest of the week goes, tentatively, we're looking at another live show Thursday night after minicamp is done. Still up in the air just a little bit, depending upon how schedules work out with Brunswick and I. But stay tuned for that. We'll keep you posted on that. Otherwise, if we're not, we'll be back next week, of course. So with that, you guys have a great rest of your Monday night. Justin Jefferson is here. Justin Jefferson is not going anywhere. And all you negative people who were saying Justin Jefferson was getting traded, you can politely go pound sand because he's staying and he's not going anywhere and he's going to stay in purple. So with that, you guys have a great night. We will see you later.